Right, so what's going on, guys? This is just me making another workout vlog with regards to my leg day. So, the way my split goes is like 5 days per week, and upper day, lower day, rest. So, like Monday, Tuesday, rest, and then Thursday, Friday, Saturday is like push, pull, legs. Right? Why? Because my lower body is my strong point. Yes, it's not evident from the calves before people comment on it, but my quads are pretty good and my hamstrings are decently developed. So I like to start off with 3 sets of 6 to 10 reps on the seated leg curl. Why? Because it doesn't load up your spine like the way your lying leg curl does, and it's a pretty stable motion. It gives a good stability profile when you go and do some sort of a squatting or a leg pressing movement because your hamstrings are already warm and they serve as pretty good stabilizers basically. Now the way I like to do my seated leg curls is I like to lean back. I usually like to train all sets till failure, or I like to leave like 1 or 2 reps in reserve basically. So I'm not too fussed on that, but I look at my previous records and I try to simply progressively overload compared to what I did last time. Then this is my second set, and I usually like to keep a logbook. And on leg days, I usually like to wear shorts because looking at my calves, which are not so developed, which are not developed at all, to be honest, psychologically motivates me. And for the bodybuilding fans out there, that's Abdullah in the background, who is the owner of Dungeon Gym. A genuinely super nice guy, is very friendly with everybody, has set up a fantastic bodybuilding environment. So yeah, so getting back, the way I like to do my leg curls is I like to take like a 1 second pause at the bottom and go 3 seconds on the way up, and I like to go all the way up, right up until the point where I'm almost about to lock my knees basically. And I do take like a 1 second pause on top as well. So yeah, there's not much to say on this one, but my coach has simply asked me that I'm supposed to be training harder. So yeah, with regards to things, I really don't like to push it like in the Jordan Peters style, which is like vibrating, trembling, train till failure. But I like to train till technical failure. Now, what do I mean by technical failure? Go right up until the point and go to the point where you're able to still perform the set with proper technique. And if you're not able to perform the reps with proper technique despite effort and maximum intensity, then you have probably reached the tipping point. As simple as that. Now, this is the last set for my top set. So yeah. Now, there's not really much to say, but the feedback my coach gave last time was take a pause at the bottommost position rather than stopping like 1 or 2 inches away from the contracted position. I'm trying my best to fix that out. But yes, still working on it. Now, immediately after this, I've got like 2 sets on the hack squat. The hack squat is a Nebula one, which gives me a really good range, and it's like 2 sets of 6 to 10. Now, but by mistake, I got the weights wrong, so I did one extra set in the start, basically. So let me just, and it's gonna move on to the next one. Yeah, so in this set, this was my mistake set. So technically, I did like an extra set, and there's not much to say around this basically. But just in technique corner, I always make sure that my hips are pressed inside the pad. I go all the way down till my hamstrings almost touch my calves. Take like a 1 second pause at the bottom, pause, and boom, then right back up. Yes, I do lock my knees for those people who are going to comment on my technique. Well, locking out your knees is perfectly alright if you go all the way down and you come all the way up. Because a lot of people get those leg knee injuries, those snap legs, etc., because they don't go all the way down and then they lock out their knees basically, as a result of which the knee is not being strengthened through its entire range of motion and the connective tissues don't really develop that much strength. And the way I like to do the hack squat is I usually like to leave 2 to 0 reps in reserve. So yeah, I was not meant to do this set, But I did this set thinking that I did my first set, but then I looked at the numbers in my logbook and I was like, fuck's sake, I gotta be beating my previous numbers. As a result of which, I counted this working set as a warm up set, unfortunately, so my legs were pretty fatigued. So, yep. So this was technically a warm up set, but in reality, it was a working set, the first working set. But moving on, this is it's technically my first one working set, but in actuality, it's my second working set. I was hoping that I'd probably just get something like 8 reps in, but I ended up getting 9 reps in because I was pretty psychologically synced. And yeah, so bam, I did like, I don't know, 10 reps away or 9 to 10 reps at 75 kilos. Technique is pretty decent though, really decent. Take like a 1 second pause at the bottom. And the breathing pattern, I don't really keep a hard and fast rule with regards to my breathing pattern basically. I simply like to go with the flow. But if I keep the movement right, the breathing automatically follows up. But for those of y'all who are pretty anal around this, you're supposed to like inhale on the way down, hold your breath at the bottom, and then exhale on the way up. As simple as that. So it's like inhale on the way down, hold your breath at the bottom, exhale on the way up. As simple as that. You know. Then this is my top set. I didn't think I would be able to do the second working set, so because I already did like an extra set, unfortunately, as a result of which I called like a spotter. I went till 1 rep in reserve. I didn't really go to failure because already my quads are pretty fatigued. But this time I needed some help. I ended up getting like 9 reps away here. This is a pretty cool hack squat. Fits like a glove, really smooth. All the way down, all the way up. Not much for me to say. The rep range is 2 sets of 6 to 10 reps. As simple as that. What else? What else? Yeah. Now, I also would like to say that my calves are also being worked because when you go through a full range of motion, you are moving around your ankle joint as well. So a lot of people like to train their calves in the start of their workout, but then if you execute your calf training properly, you go through a full range of motion on pretty much all the exercises. You don't really need to do a lot of volume for your calves. So yeah, um, that basically was it. Like my spotter was encouraging me to get like the other rep in, but I had like literally no reps in reserve. Well, I did have like 1 rep, but you think it's better to give like 90% consistently for weeks on end than to give like 100% and like gas yourself out basically. Now the third rep, like the next exercise, single leg press basically. This one is a pretty good exercise. I did like 60 kilos for 10 reps last time. This time I increased the weight up to 70 kilos. I ended up getting what, 7 reps, but that's 60 multiplied by 10 is what, 600 kilos. 7 multiplied by 7 is 490 kilos basically. But um, the reps are soon going to catch up in the next few sessions because the progression jumps are pretty high on this machine basically. The reason why my coach is giving me a lot of machines is because he wants to give me a lot more volume than which I can handle without that much fatigue. And for things like free weights and stuff like that, a lot of fatigue accumulates. So yeah, and my glutes are also pretty weak. My quads are pretty strong. My glutes, my hamstrings, and my calves, like the backside of my leg needs to catch up, and boom, then my physique is going to be complete. I like to take like a 1 second pause at the bottom, and I like to drive explosively on the way up. Bam, that's it. Then I usually like to do like the other leg as well. not much for me to say. But I like to leave like a nice, I don't know, give or take 3 minutes rest between every leg because when I train legs, I get fatigued really quickly. It takes a lot of time for the fatigue to wear off basically, and it gasses me out a lot. As simple as that. Obviously, the angle is not that great over here, but as you know, this is the dungeon gym, and the equipments are pretty top notch, handpicked. There's a nice little Cybex leg press, which has been reverse banded, and I think I was doing my left leg over here in this video basically. Obviously, this is the last set, and I go to failure all the way, and I just simply maintain the constant tension with like nice little tempo. I usually like to train the naked feet when I am no when I'm training legs, when I'm doing any sort of quad movement, I like to train with my shoes on. Then after this, I move on to leg press, leg extensions. And these are killer even at the lightest possible weight because when your like quads are pretty fatigued from doing heavy hack squats, heavy leg presses, 3 sets of 10 to 15 reps is more than enough to wreck you up. My weights and reps have gone up by like 3 to 4 in every session. And the way I like to do them is like 1 second pause on top, 3 seconds on the way down. And I like to slightly lean back. I don't like to lean forward. I like to be explosive on the way up. I make sure that my knee capsule is pointing straight. Obviously, sometimes it slightly points upwards, but just try to make sure that it's pointing straight. And yeah, that basically is it. There's not much for me to say on the leg press. And go all the way down with the 1 second pause at the bottom. That's it. That's how Dorian Yates did it. That's how I did it. And not saying I'm Dorian Yates, although I wish. And yeah. Now the thing about leg extensions is you can't really do them in a low rep range. I mean, you can, but then if you were to do them in a high rep range after like heavy leg presses and stuff like that, a lot of fatigue is already there. So the metabolite buildup is going to be pretty quick, and you're going to get like more from less. So yeah, as you can probably see, it's a bitch leg extensions, and it causes my legs to cramp up like really, really bad quickly. So yeah, this is more or less my second set. I was like legit looking at the time, and I think in this set I got the bench slightly forward, as a result of which I'm not really going all the way down. I mean, the range has been reduced, I'm going all the way down, but it's not that deep compared to the first set. So now I couldn't really change the setting because I'm already balls deep inside the set. But in the third top set, I changed it basically. Obviously, I didn't record the third top set because I just wanted to not get too flustered with the recording shit. I just wanted to like hammer the fuck out of my quads. That's basically it, you know. Then from there, I move on to Smith machine hip thrust. Now these are my personal favorite. I really enjoy them, especially with the fluffy little pad right there. It's like 2 sets of 10 to 15 reps. Usually it's more of like pump work. 2 plates, 80 kilos for 15, like for 10 reps. Obviously the reps have gone up by like 3 reps on the first set compared to last time. Setup is you want the shoulder blades to be resting right at the edge of the pad, but the shoulder blades should be pushing down on the bench rather than back in the bench. Make sure that your hips are pointing up to the sky. You take like a nice 1 second pause on top. Make sure that your hands are rested properly on the barbell. Take a 1 second pause in the lengthen position, 1 second pause on top, and 3 seconds on the way down, but not when you're down, if that makes perfect sense. So yeah, I mean, 2 sets, that basically is it. So yeah, I mean, two sets, 10 to 15 reps, and the set starts right now. All right, that's a one. I like to be explosive on the way up. Two, then three, okay, four, then what else? What else? Five. Yep. I think I pushed this all the way till failure. Six, and I think I did like 10 reps on this. Last time I did 7 reps on the same workout basically. Eight, two more easy. Nine, cool, and one more. As you can probably see, the speed is maintained. 10, I think I had like another one in this basically. And the last one, I end up getting something like 7 to 8 reps, which is 2 reps more than last time. On any sort of hip hinge movements, any sort of glute and hamstring motions, which are compound exercises, I make sure that I usually train without any sort of shoes basically, because with a flatter foot, I can make sure that my heel is well connected to the ground, and I can like really drive my heels back in the ground. I ensure that my feet aren't directly under my knees when I'm performing the exercise. I ensure that my chin is tucked in so that I'm solely moving around my hip joint whilst my spine is nice and neutral or even slightly arched. I'm not so fussed on that one because I don't really feel my lower backs on this. I just solely feel the top of my hamstrings right next to my glutes. And yeah, in fact, I get my feet slightly forward if that makes perfect sense. And I think that I'm pushing the barbell forward when I press it up. And then immediately after this, I go and do like 4 sets on the calves. That basically is it. 4 sets and calves. And yeah, boom. I'm already pretty fatigued from the workout. So yeah, people, if you found this useful, feel free to like, share, subscribe, and thank you for viewing. Have a nice one.